Hi, I'm Rick the Critic, and welcome. Today, my guest is J. Lou. I should say author or artist of A Grand Tale. And welcome. I am so glad to have you here today. J. Lou's from Houston, and he brought a Houston sound, and he's got a Houston and a LA sound that's just fabulous, just fabulous. Welcome, J. Lou.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Today, I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about your Grand Tale CD, but what I want to talk about more so is African American men in hip hop culture. Because it's a. I mean, we see the Jay-Z's, and would they be considered hip hop, or are they considered rappers? What is Jay-Z? What is Ludacris? What is Common? I mean, are they considered rappers or hip hop artists?
That's a good question. I would say with Common, I know without a shadow of a doubt, he's a conscious rapper. I mean, conscious artist, rapper, artist, conscious. Either way, he's in that area. Jay-Z, I just think he transitioned, to be honest with you. I think he's at that age, or he's at that part in time in his career where it's like, hey, I can do whatever I want to do. I can do pop, I can do radio, I can go back to doing what I did when I first got on, which is, talking about my experiences in Marcy, Marcy, or however you say it, Marcy, Brooklyn, where he comes from.
Okay.
He can go back to those aspects. He's all over there. Who else did you say? You said Jay-Z.
I mean, I was just throwing out some names because I just wanted to.
It's a melting pot.
Okay, I just wanted to get the difference between the hip hop and the rapper.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was asking that question, because what my question is when I see the Jay-Z and Common and Ludacris and even LL, when I see them. And they've transitioned, Ice-T transitioned into they've transitioned to the movie part. But even as African American males, I still see certain, I don't want to say, I can say it. Even though they've transitioned, they are still, you can still see like with Ice Cube, and you can still see the artist part of them. I guess that's what I'm saying. The artist, that you can see the artist is still there.
Right.
So I'm wondering, is even though they've transitioned into media, into movies, and television, and that, what has happened, with hip hop culture? I mean, because it's not a lost art. It's still there. But what do you see hip hop, with African American males? Where do you see this thing heading?
Oh, where I see it's heading. It's honestly, if you look at it from I guess from a broad perspective, you would think that the market is saturated. I mean, if you really think about everybody that's out right now, I mean, like I said, again, I always try to show respect to every artist that's doing what they're doing, or rapper that's doing what they're doing. Kudos to you. But I think it's saturated because it's almost like it's so easy to be noticed now. Like, back in the 90s, you actually had to be at a show, or you had to be on a block somewhere and you guys are freestyling, and then you get your buzz like that, or you go take your tape into a radio station. Now, with the social avenues on the internet, all you have to do is, on Instagram, you got 15 seconds of fame. You can say whatever you want to say and get hot off that, or go on YouTube and make a video. It's that simple now. But from a keen or a sharper eye, if you look underneath all the fluffery, you can see that it hasn't died. There's plenty of artists out there that's very talented. They're hungry. They just haven't got their shot yet, or maybe they haven't been promoted the right way, or didn't have the resources or whatnot. But it's definitely not a lost culture. It's not a lost art at all.
Okay, so there is a definite, infinite
Oh, yeah.
future
It's
in
definitely.
hip hop. I guess I just wonder. I see these guys transitioning into, like I said, not social media, but I see them transitioning into media, and it just seems like they have they don't even think about. I mean, you could see it's in them, but I mean, I guess if you ask them to start rapping if they would come and do a concert, I mean, do they still come out of that and still do concerts? Do they still promote their music? Do they still do music? I guess that's my question.
Right, I get it. Well, I mean, it's hard for me to really say what's going through their mind. I mean, I can only give it from my perspective. Some people, I think, and I won't put any names, I just say some people. Some people have it where, I'm not doing anything unless it's a monetary gain behind it. Some people will be like, I'm all for the cause. I'll go back to my old neighborhood and perform and give a great show. And then, you have some that doesn't have that power to do that either. So I think it's a mixed bowl full of both. And honestly, I think really they should, not they, but me being an artist, and when I get to that level, I always feel like I'm at that level already, but when I get to the level where I can really reach the people the way I want to, I really just want to show them, like, although I'm an artist, that's why, I created Lucid Creations, which is my baby again. It's different things, it's different aspects to it. It's not just rap. I just want to, although that's my platform, I do want to show the African American culture. You don't have to be a football player or a rapper to succeed. I mean, you can be a banker or own a bank. You can, start a consulting firm. You can use your education or your mental capacity as opposed to doing what everybody's saying. Like, for example, the first thing you see when you see a 6'4" African American, you say, oh wow, do you play basketball, or you got to be playing receiver for some big college. You just got to. You're too big. Why can't he be the 6'4" guy that gave Pixar an idea for a new cartoon or something?
Right.
Why couldn't he be that guy? So when I convey my messages in my music, and the artistry that I use, I don't want to just show them that they are just that I'm just out here doing boom chicka boom boom music. I want them to know that it's other avenues, even through me using music as my avenue. That's my talent.
Yeah.
But I think, it's pressure in the world that makes people or influence guys or black guys or African Americans to think that that's all they're good at. Or I can't do anything else but play sports, or I can't do anything else but do music, and that's so far from the truth.
When my ex-husband, I remember he is 6'7", 6'8",
Oh yeah,
and a
that's
really
small forward.
big guy. And that was one of the things. It was like, do you play sports and all that? But he typed like almost 200 words a minute. He was
wow.
a clerical person. But anytime they looked at him, it was always associated with physical,
Right,
some type of
exactly.
physical. And so with that, I just began to look at, and even now, my grandson is a tall kid, and that's, do you play basketball? And it's like there are so many other things, and especially with African American males, they have got to be the smartest men on the whole planet.
Hey,
and
I agree.
When I see that, for me, and maybe when I see my brothers, getting hit when they, when in football, and they just, and I have girlfriends that are doctors, and they tell me that, you can't, those hits, when I see my brothers getting, punched on and hit and knocked down and all of that in sports, and I know that they make quite a bit of money. Same thing, and my same feeling is even with entertaining and stuff. I know that they make a lot of money, but in my mind, it's always, brother, get your money and then you be the one to pay somebody else
Exactly.
to get hit and beat up. You be the one to pay somebody to get out there and sing and dance. So, so it's, to me, it's all about entrepreneurship with especially with my African American brothers. You said something earlier in our conversation when you talked about you had a degree in marketing, and I'm thinking, even when I look at artists, other artists, when I look at Ice Cube, I don't know what his degree is in, but he makes the funniest movies ever. And all of them start out like something that we could do if we had a movie camera.
Yeah.
That's all his stuff is. His stuff is going in the hood and just looking at, you can go in the hood and you can see people sitting on the front porch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Sitting there doing the same old thing, and he makes just millions of dollars off of it. And I'm guilty of giving him some money because I watch it.
I
but
did too.
But my point is that I see the brilliance there. And even getting back to you, so your degree is in marketing, and you had some sports affiliation, and then the marketing, and now it's the music.
Right.
So will you go back to market? Well, you're going to be able to use your marketing degree with what you're doing now.
Exactly. Well, I think the situation that occurs when you think about what you just said is the fact that when you see something a certain way, like I'm guilty of it. Like with my album that's coming out of Grand Hill, I love my artwork. I love my project. I'm in love with it. But when I hear, Wale just came out with the album About Nothing, and he has Jerry Seinfeld on it, and it's.
I just don't get that correlation.
Well,
I don't understand. I like Jerry Seinfeld, but I still never. I
Well,
just never got it together.
Wale is a creative guy, and I get it fully. All he did was, with his music, he created a show. Like if you think about if you think about the interludes or the scene or the scenes that you hear on the album, they come from his show. But everything that was on those scenes Wale used it as a creative format for him to create his songs, but it goes in order, like from the beginning on to the end.
I just heard a little bit of it.
Right.
I just heard Jerry Seinfeld talking, and then I thought,
it
stopped for me right there.
Wale, I think he would be considered one of those abstract artists. It may not make sense to you then. It's almost like sometimes he'll have to explain it for you to really get it. And then sometimes his artistry is like, you have to, some of his songs I still don't understand fully. I have to go back and listen to it again.
Okay.
But it just happens. Sometimes it happens with it just be little things that they say or that we say that you're like, wait a minute, what did he just say? But like I said, but going back to the main question, when I see what he did with his, and I think about mine, I was like, dang, my production is so far away from his. And it ties back into what you said about how easy it is how Ice Cube made his money through something that you could have done with a camera like this. And I think the facade is that you have to be there you have to already be there in order to make a powerful project. And that's not true. Like you can start with nothing. Those guys didn't have that when they first started. Wale didn't have the production. He didn't have the Seinfelds to come on and do his. All you had was a mic, your computer, and recording, and then hope that you hit the right notes and hit the right rhythm on that song to make a good project. And then you end up getting a good project from just that, And but far as the whole, like I said, the facade about it being difficult and you not being able to do things from scratch and then building it to entrepreneurship, like you said, where it's like, okay, now I have my platform, let me help someone else. That's really the focal point for me. The focal point is you do it first.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna I'm just being honest, I'm not gonna follow somebody who never did it before me.
Okay.
It's like taking advice from somebody who's not in your field. Like if I tell you how to to be a great host, and I've never hosted a show. Like, yeah, this is what you should do to be a great host.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, you ain't even walked in my shoes. How you gonna tell me
Yeah.
how to? So it's like that's what I mean. So it's in a sense you have to. You just have to continue to do what you do, and when you get there and you make it, or you get your platform, then you can help assist other people, and they actually believe in you and follow you because they see the body of success you have. So
Yeah.
that's how I think that's how it works for me. I mean, it may work totally different from for other people, but that's my plan. To do it first and then assist others to just follow the footprints, just follow the blueprint. And if you choose to stay on my label or stay in my little camp, you can. If you choose, you know what, J. Lou, I have this vision, man. I want to do what you did. I want to create my own label and have my own artist. So I want to create my own. I have this vision, and you have a great vision, but I have something else I want to do. I'm all for that. I'll even back you. I'll fund you if you don't have it.
Yeah.
But
and that's the way it should be.
We don't have enough of that now.
It should be, and that's the way it should be. But when you said something else that was profound, I remember when I was coming up, I remember Spike Lee. I mean, he was selling. He had aluminum cans.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing all that to back his first movie, which was She's Gotta Have It, which is like the worst thing I have ever seen. But everybody calls it culture, a pop culture
He's
type
made quite
movie.
a few movies that's filmed like that.
Yeah, and he is a great film producer. I think he's awesome.
Right.
But he started out with some stuff, and he had a dream, he had a vision, and he went for it. And even others. So I do understand. I guess, but you said something else when you said come back and help others. You don't see a lot of that happening. You don't see a lot. I was talking to a brother, oh gosh, maybe a year or two ago, and he was an athlete. And I asked him a question. I said, I don't understand why athletes don't own their own teams. Why don't they have more? Because when I look at the athletes that are losing their houses and their cars and their mind and their wives and all that, and I said, on that bus, how many? He said, it's 15 people on the bus, and it's like each person represents $1 million. Maybe not, but it's close. You're talking at least, $10 million on the bus.
Right.
Why isn't that no one comes together and says, let's just take $10,000 and let's just put it in a pot. Let's just all of us put. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine just not long ago, and Dr. Price, the pastor down in Los Angeles, they were doing an appreciation for him, and the appreciation was 2 hours, and within 2 hours, this brother had over $400,000.
Wow.
And I thought, what is happening here? Not that he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that if we can come and put that kind of money in one man's hand, why can't we just, even if we did it on a smaller scale, in 2 hours, $400,000, that's a lot of money. But I'm saying even if we did it on a smaller scale and said, okay, let's all put $10 in this pot every week.
Right.
You
know what? That's a touchy subject in a sense, but it's not. What it boils down to me, and I said it's just a humble opinion of mine, it really, I think it boils down to how we were reared. It's like we were reared and influenced to be divided for some odd reason. Like everything's a competition. It's not friendly competition. Like it's okay that you feel like, okay, nobody's gonna be better than me at what I do. But at the same time, it's friendly competition. Like I have no issue with saying that I feel like I'm the best artist out, and then like if it's someone else that feels that way, it's cool. It's all friendly competition.
Sure.
But at the same time, you guys want to collaborate and say, let's get a team of hot artists, and let's throw a big bash. Let's do our own thing. Like prime example, a couple guys. I'm not sure if it's Kanye West or somebody, but they was talking about BET on how he was going on his rant about Beyonce not winning, or not BET. I don't remember one of those award shows. Keep in mind, I don't look at that stuff. But he went on a rant about how Beyonce didn't should deserve this award, and he was just saying, you know, we're tired of it, we're fed up. Well, here's my thing, and I said no disrespect to him at all. If you're tired of it, create a platform for these people who deserve these things. You guys have more than enough money, and money talks. We all know that. Put it on the table and say, hey, we're all putting our money together, and we want to start our own award show. And you give your award who you feel like it should be given to.
Sure.
Don't complain about something and don't do anything about it. Like, you know, that's like back when I was back in my neighborhoods or whatnot, people used to complain about the streets being dirty. Well, go out there and pick up one can or something. It don't have to be the whole street, you know. And then like I said, I think it's on rear. And like I said it in my very first song, I said I had a house that was divided. Like I had a team that was divided. I was raised by a divided team. And what one said was, you know, love everybody and be the change you expect. And then the other one was like, yeah, but as soon as you make it to where you getting to, they gonna cut you off just like that, or they gonna turn on you right on cue. They gonna hate on you, despise you, and be mad at you. And I think the reason why those guys who have that money don't go back to the neighborhoods or don't go back and work with people is because they're reared like, I got it. They want me, they hating on me, or they're despising me. So why am I gonna help somebody who's gonna hate me? And I think that's where it comes from. But everybody's not out hating you. You got to know who you're dealing with. And you know, I think for me, it's a spiritual thing. If we have a spiritual mindset that's like-minded, you know, I have no problem with it. You just got to know who you're assisting and know how much time to lend to somebody. You got to know if they're going to reciprocate the same thing.
That's a very valid point.
Right.
How much time to lend? That's a, you know what, that I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna take that one.
Hey, take
we
it,
need
record
to
it,
know how much time to lend. Isn't that is so profound. When in anything, in any area of our life, we need to know how much time to lend.
You know, I mean, and because sometimes you can lend too much time to something and you waste it, and man, it's nothing like having wasted time. Like, I think wasting time is more detrimental than wasting money, because it's like, dang, I just lost $20,000. But you can do enough and gain that back. But there's nothing in this world you can do to gain
your time
2 years back, 20 hours back. You know, it's nothing you can do for that. So you have to, when you're assisting these people or choosing not to, you have to be mindful of how much time to lend to those people. And you know, you gotta, you know, if you feel like it's wasting your time or these people are not doing what they said they was gonna do, then you have to make a conscious decision to leave it alone, drop it, and don't think twice about it. Like, hey, I gave it all I had. I seen that you really wasn't doing it. But that doesn't mean that you don't go back, you know, like for example, I say the neighborhoods because a lot of times they get, you know, neglected by the celebrities and the superstars or the mega stars. They don't go back because they, you know, like I said, the depiction they have. But when you go back, and it's like, just because that one guy or those 20 guys over there or those 20 teenagers there looking at you like a vulture and ready to eat you alive and take your watch, sort of like Kendrick said about when you touch down in LA, I'm on the clock. It's another guy in Compton that really wants your help, and he'll do everything that it takes to get to where you want. He just need guidance, and you're lumping him in with everybody else, and that's not fair to him or her or, you know, or anybody. So, you know, you just
it is
take
discriminating, huh?
Yeah. It's disheartening.
Yeah, it is. But again, you know what I'm saying? Again, back to African American culture. I mean, you just said some things that make a lot of sense. What I have been seeing lately, and in the last few years, I have seen a camaraderie with brothers and sisters. I've seen that, and I've seen them come in, and as you say, that time to lend. You know, I've seen that coming,
right?
And it's changing. You know, I'm the first one to say everybody's not like that, because as we're speaking, you're talking about coming back and doing and changing.
Exactly.
So there are some that aren't, but there are some that are, and I think I want to believe there are more that are than aren't.
Yeah, they're just not seeing.
They're just not seeing them, and I think that because of situations, some people are just not forthright. Some people don't want you to know what they're doing. They just want to do it, ease on, ease on, ease on. So I see that in our culture, and even though I hear that our young men are dying and getting shot
Most
and
definitely.
all this kind of thing, I'm still hearing some rays of hope in there, and I hear it through the music. I hear it through conversation with political arenas. I hear it in, and mind you, most people just, it's a song. Most people, they're politicians, they lie. Yeah, they do, it is a song, but there are some politicians, there are some artists that are actually saying what they want to convey to the world. And that's what I heard when I was listening to A Grand Tale. I was listening to Trials. I was listening to, like I said, Hollywood. I was listening to Maneuver. I was listening to some songs, and I could hear some, you know what I'm saying? I could hear, this is what's happening, but you can get through this.
Oh, yeah.
You can come out of this thing victoriously. Yes, these are oppositions. Yes, these are obstacles. Yes, these are the kind of people that you're going to run across as an African American male. That's what I heard when I was listening to the music. But you can successfully get, through this.
Right. And for me, I believe music is one of the most influential things in this world, because so many people can hear you at one time. So that's why I'm really mindful on the choice of words that I use, because it's like, although it's like, yeah, it's entertainment, but imagine hearing the same thing over and over again. Like, imagine telling a toddler that they're ugly over and over again or something. They'll have that in their mindset. So it's just influential.
I know. We're running out of time. I'm so glad that you came. You will come back and see me again?
Oh yeah, I like it.
I love
like
it. Thank you for joining us. This is J. Lou, artist, hip hop artist, A Grand Tale. Love it. You're gonna love it, like it. We'll see you. Thank you for joining us and coming in.